share my screen. And okay, here we go. Share. So can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Can you? Okay,
Yeah,
so
I can see it.
constructing the CMA, and this is going to be basically a step-by-step approach to mostly what I want you to get out of this is understanding the CMA, so that when you get ready to create a CMA, you'll understand getting the data that you're collecting. So here we go. So why are they important? So for one thing, they're important because the market is constantly changing. And so you're constantly having to go and look at what's happening in the market. The National Association of Realtors, they've come out with a report, and it says that home sales are down nationwide about 3.25%. So you would probably be able to find this out yourself if you were doing a market analysis. So it's important to do that market analysis whenever you have a buyer or a seller, just so that you can show them what's happening in the market. You yourself would be able to come up with the same conclusions as the National Association of Realtors when you do that market analysis. And the other thing is, when you're working with buyers, you do a market analysis because buyers want to make sure that they're paying a fair price. They don't want to pay more for a property than it's worth. And the CMA is there to help them figure out or help you figure out what homes are going for, and then they can offer what they feel is a good price. And then on the other side of that, sellers want to make sure that they're selling their house for the highest and best price. So again, that's what the CMA is for. And it also, it just kind of shows that you know what you're talking about. And that's something we were talking about earlier when it doesn't matter where you are, you can figure out what's happening in the market. You don't have to have lived there. You can do a market analysis and get the information that you need to show buyers and sellers what's happening in the market. Okay, so I put together a 5-step approach. I kind of broke it down into what exactly do we need to do when we're getting a CMA, when we're doing a CMA. And so when you present a CMA correctly, and it doesn't have to be something super duper fancy, it just has to contain data. And there's certain data that's important in going toward constructing that CMA. It shows people that this person really knows what they're talking about. So let's go right in. So step one, what you want to do is itemize the listing, the property's strengths and its weaknesses. So, and the only way to do that is you want to visit the property. You want to get eyes on so that you personally can see it and make a good assessment. So you want to walk the property, both inside and outside. If it's a property with, let's say it's acreage, you don't really have to walk, like the 10 acres, but it's a good idea to just kind of get your eyes on the property inside and out. You want to take notes, and if the client will let you take photos so that you could have that as reference for later. Or maybe if you're working with the buyer, you'll have that to be able to show the buyers. And you want to make sure that you know any features. If they've got upgrades, you want to make sure you have listed those upgrades, and list the property's pros and cons. So if the property has upgrades, you want to, and you're talking to the seller and they're wanting to know how to price their homes, you want to let them know that when they have newer features, when they've updated their property, they can generally demand or command a higher price. Not always, it just depends on what features they've put in. So sometimes
Permits.
yeah, it's got to be permitted.
Permits.
That is true. That is true. Now, and sometimes sellers will say, well, I put in this new carpet. Yeah, but it's orange carpet. So
Shag.
yeah, shag, orange shag, avocado green carpet. No, that's even though it's new, it's not necessarily an upgrade.
Upgrade,
So,
yeah.
yeah, and some people feel like they put granite countertops in and that should command a higher price. Well, not necessarily, because some people don't like granite. Some people don't like it. So, you want to have kind of an idea of what features really make a difference. Some people think,
So with pools too. They
pools,
think
yeah,
pools,
some
but
people don't
pools are
want pools.
not an upgrade depending on where they're at. I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah, because some people with small children don't want a house with a pool.
Yeah.
So for them, that's not an upgrade. So just because a home has a pool doesn't mean
It's an upgrade.
they get a higher price. So homes that are older, definitely those, you're not going to get a higher price for an older home just because buyers look at that as, how old is this feature? How old is the air conditioner? Am I going to have to be repairing that anytime soon? So the best thing you want to tell your sellers, because the sellers that I'm visiting today, older homes, they've been there forever. I'm going to have to let them know buyers want to move. They want their home to be move-in condition. They don't want to buy a home that they have to now go in and fix stuff up. They don't want to have to paint. They don't want to fix that air conditioner. They don't want to have to buy a new stove. So just make sure that whatever you do, seller, that it's in move-in condition. So any questions about step one, or understanding the concept of step one? Step one meaning you go to the property and you as an agent make an assessment as to, the quality of the home.
Now, this is for the buyers that's going to buy that particular property. You're going to look at the property and make sure they get the the best price for that property, right? This is for the buyers only, right?
This is for the buyers. You
Okay.
want to do it for buyers and sellers.
Oh, okay.
Concept is the same for both the buyer and the seller. So when you're on step one and you're viewing the property, let's say if you're with the buyer, you still want to go, and we call it previewing. You still want to go to the property. You want to look at the property. And basically, I only do the full CMA for a property that the buyer is actually going to buy. I don't do this for every single home that I'm showing them. But yeah, not for every single home, because you will never get anything done. You won't have a lot. So, but this is if they're they want to buy the house. So now you as a diligent agent want to go and make sure that's a good house to buy. So you go visit it, you walk it, you make assessments of the house, you take notes, you take photos if you can, you make note of all, what's new, what's old, and make an assessment as to whether it's in move-in condition or, if there's some maintenance that might need to be done. Because if there's some maintenance, maybe, that can go into part of the negotiation on the price. So, they can lower the price because, well, you've got this old stove that looks like it doesn't even work, that kind of thing. So, and then
what you mean, Mom? You mean you don't have to offer as much over asking?
That's true. You don't have to offer $100,000 over asking.
Right? Exactly. You can offer 90 for that.
Exactly. So that is so true. Now,
yeah, because I had a client, she did that. Oh, can we offer under because we have to pay? And I was like, no, that's an insult. Good luck. Your
Yeah.
offer will get declined immediately. You're wasting my time.
Yeah.
That is true. So now if you're representing the seller, you're in step one and you're representing the seller. You're going to do the same thing whether you're representing the buyer or seller in
sure.
step one.
Mm.
So for the seller, you're doing it for the fact that they want to know, well, what price should I set? What should I sell my home at? What should I list it at? So you're still going to walk the property, you're going to look at it, you're going to make some assessments, and then you're going to say, based on what I see and based on how it compares to other homes, this is what you give them a range. You never tell them what price to list their home. You just give them a range. You can say, I think it'd be good to list it between this price and this price. What do you think? And let them pick the price. And so you're going to do step one for either the buyer or the seller, depends on who you're representing, but your mindset's going to be different whether you're representing the buyer or the seller. So does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So moving to step two, you want to share a little bit of history about the property. If you're working with the buyer, you want the buyer to know everything there is to know about that property. And again, we're only talking about a property that they're thinking about making an offer on. You want to know all that you can. So you want statistics, and you can get statistics from the Realtors Property Resource, and I can send you, if you haven't been getting information from Realtors Property Resource, let me know. I can give you information about how to hook up with them.
Yeah, can you send me the link?
They'll give you, oops, sorry.
Can you give me the link, please?
What was that? I didn't
Can you
babe.
get me the link, please?
Yes, I will.
After the meeting?
Yes, definitely I will.
Okay, thank you.
So it's saying low system resources may affect your audio quality. Okay, I don't have anything open. So anyway, so yes, I'll give you the link, both of you, the link to the Realtors Property Resource. And from them, you can get a whole bunch of information like, flood zone, whether the property's been in a foreclosure, what are the tax trends for this property? You can get, see where it's located in the neighborhood, census, mortgage reports, the demographics. Now, I do want to ask you to be careful about demographics when you're reporting demographics, because we don't want to sound like we're, what is that word, Monique?
Steering.
And
blockbustering.
Yes, that. What I don't know why I can't think of that word. Targeting a specific character of people.
I mean, we would just call it steering. In property management, it's just steering.
But like, you don't want to say you don't want to say it's predominantly Hispanic. Racial flagging, that's what profiling.
That's like profiling, like racial profiling.
Yes. So you don't, when you're talking about demographics, you will get this information, but I, as an agent, I probably wouldn't say it was predominantly African American or predominantly Asian. You don't want, they can get that information. If they ask you, you can tell them, but I would never, as far as demographics, I would be careful about how I.
Come to your voice.
I think it's her audio. Something's wrong.
Oh,
it's telling me that my audio is off because I have a lot of things open, but this is the only thing I have open. So, but can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as schools, you want to try to find out about the schools in the neighborhood, any local amenities like parks and recreation centers, hospitals, and how far is this property from the hospital, what kind of medical centers there are. You want to know if they're planning on building a railroad track behind that property. So, that's something that the buyer would want to know. And now if on the other side, if you're working with the seller, you want to know these things too, because that's going to affect how they price their home. So any questions about step 2, sharing about the history of the property?
Are you allowed to provide the demographics on that report, or are you just saying that this website will provide the demographics?
Yeah, it'll provide the demographics. Another place that you can go to get demographics is MetroList.
No,
You
what I'm
can-
saying is this something that we should provide on there, or is it something that you would not provide on your CMA? That's what I'm wondering.
I wouldn't.
It's not necessary, right?
It's not necessary.
Okay.
It's definitely not necessary.
I'm just saying I
but
didn't want to. That's why I was asking. Like, I was like, I
Yeah.
don't want to do that.
No, so here's the only reason you do it, I'm making notes about making sure I send that link to you. The reason you do this is because you want to know, as a realtor, you want to know, but you don't have to give them all these statistics. You want to be able to have that knowledge in the back of your head so that when you're talking about the property, so you can say it's in a good school neighborhood, they're like in the 99 percentile, whatever. You want to be able to talk intelligently about that property. You want to be able to know that they're about to build a high rise and block that buyer's view 5 years from now. So you don't have to provide all this, but it's good for you to know. You want to know what the mortgage reports are saying. And you kind of do want to know the demographics because you're working with that buyer and they've talked to you and they've said this and they've said that. You can kind of get in the back of your mind based on the demographics if this buyer is going to be a good fit. Not that you're going to steer them or deter them. You're just going to know in the back of your mind how that's going to play out for the buyer. If they've told you, I only want to live in a neighborhood that's predominantly Hispanic, then you can say you can let them know, well, you should probably be really happy here, but you don't want to say it's predominantly Hispanic.
I had that happen with homegirl, and she's seen all the American flags and was like, she already knew what the dominant race was running around there. It was like, I'm not living here amongst those people. And I was like, I couldn't not sure. And they actually got mad at me. Like, I had clients them get mad at me because I was showing them homes in neighborhoods that they felt were, predominantly white, and they wanted to live in a more mixed or more of a get. And I said, I can't not show you the home. I mean, it's a home you wanted to see. Like, I can't tell you those things. It's it's a fair housing issue. So, that's your opinion of the neighborhood, or your assessment of the neighborhood. My assessment's different, like.
And if you like the house, it doesn't matter because, you're a house, and neighborhood that it's not about your neighbors, it's about what you're trying to find,
Right. But for them, they're old school. So that was different. But it was kind of funny because I was like, I can't just be like, oh, this neighborhood is 50% Black. Let's go. Like, I couldn't. And that's what they wanted me to do. And I was like, no, I'm not getting sued.
But you can give them a report. Now, say in the tax records, if you go to Real Tax through MetroList, you go to Real Tax, you can pull up these demographics yourself. You actually don't need Realtor's Property Resource. You can use Real List, the Real Tax program through MetroList. So you can hand them a report and let them read it if that's something that your people are concerned with, and they can read about it. But you just want to be careful that you're not the one spitting out that information, because it could fall back on you in all kinds of bad ways. So even if they're the ones that said, I only want to live in a neighborhood that's predominantly African American, and then you look at the demographics and you see that it's predominantly African American, and then you tell them that, and they move in, and a bunch of white people move in later. She said it was predominantly African.
Mhm.
And then, all kinds of bad things can happen. And then somebody could hear it and said, that realtor told them that it was predominantly African American. You can lose your license so easy with so many, with just the simplest little thing. Even though you're catering
Yeah.
to your client, you just always have to be aware of
Mhm.
what you're saying to them. So you can hand them, there's no issue with you handing them a report and they read it and they interpret it, but just
Mhm.
make sure you're not interpreting it. So any questions on step 2, sharing the history about the home?
Mhm.
No, good. Okay. So in this step 3, and I'm going to follow this with showing you an actual market analysis. So you want to find homes that are similar to the home that you're looking at. So whether you're working with the buyer or the seller, the object is to find homes that are similar to what we call the subject property. And so I'm going to go through it and then I'll give you some tips on what you can do in case you can't find these specific um, uh, properties. So Monique, do you have to go for a
Yeah,
minute?
I will. Yeah, in a minute. I'm just walking because I heard my phone going off.
Okay. So of course, it stands to reason you want to find similar floor plans and homes that have the, let's say if it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,400 square foot home, you want to find other homes with that configuration. You want to look for homes that are not more than 3 months out. So, if we're in, say, June, then you want to go May, April, March. So you want to look from March to June. You don't want to go back any farther than that because then you're looking at homes that were in a different market. Different things were happening. Homes sell differently in the springtime than they do in the wintertime. So you want to make sure you're in pretty much the same time frame. You want to look for homes that are within half a mile to a 1-mile radius of the subject property. And you want to look for homes that are built within the same decade. So you don't want to be comparing a home built in 1905 to a home that was built in 2017. Those are 2 different homes built quite differently, and vastly different floor plans, things, how builders were thinking back then are different than how builders are thinking now. Plus the home is going to be way older and not command the same kind of pricing. So now what do you do when you open up, the market and you're looking for all of these things, the floor plan, the months out, the radius and all that? What if you can't find that? So let's say your properties, the subject property is 2,400 square feet, but you can only find homes that are 1,200 square feet.
Yeah.
What you can do is when you're done with this report, you're probably going to do a square foot.
I'm going to log off and I'll log right back on in a minute. I know you're recording, so you can keep going.
Okay, thank you. So let's say you can't find a home with that. So you can take it out, maybe look at homes that are, 200 square feet different. Or, if your subject property is 3 bedrooms and you can't find any 3 bedrooms, you can use, the 2 bedrooms, you can use them, but then what you're going to end up doing is just adjusting your findings. And what I tend to do is I adjust it to looking at a price per square foot analysis, and we'll get to that a little bit later. So you want to go 3 months out, but let's say nothing's sold within the last 3 months, so you can't find anything. Then in that case, maybe take the search out 6 months. So, but what I have listed here are what's ideal for market analysis. If you can't find something that's 3 months, then go ahead and look, expand it to 4 months, 5 months, 6 months out, just so that you can have something to compare with the subject property. You want to try to have at least 3 of each. And I'll get to that in a second. So now within a half mile to 1 mile radius is best, because then you're in the same neighborhood. But if you cannot find anything in the same neighborhood, then you want to maybe expand it to 2 miles. If you can't find anything in 2 miles, go to 3. Just keep expanding or searching out until you get something to compare. And
Yeah.
again, in the same decade, always expand it. You want to look for things, you want to have at least 3 active homes to compare it with, 3 pending, and 3 sold. If you can't find anything, if you can't find 3 active, then you want to take your search out a little more. If you can't find 3 pending, it's not as critical, the pending, but again, if you can't find anything pending, take the search out a little more, or take it or a wider mile span. Take it into a different decade if you have to, of the subject property. And again, with sold, anytime the goal is to get 3. And if you get 3, great. If you can't, then work on the parameters. So, have questions regarding what is included, what types of homes are included in the market analysis? Okay, so let's look at active, pending, and sold. So here's, this is a pretend market analysis. So, it's not, these are fake addresses and fake everything, but it's here just so that I can show you, give you an idea. So what I did was I looked up active properties. The subject property is 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,100 square feet. It's on a 1.2 acre lot. It was built in 20, and they're listing it at 1.1 million. Okay, so then, I'm sorry, I was looking at comparable one is 1.1. So we're working with the buyer or the seller, and we're trying to figure out, well, what price do we offer, or what price do we set for selling the property? So I found some comps. Again, this is all pretend. So I found some comps, 3 of them that were active, and they're in the same neighborhood. They're all within a mile and a half of the subject property. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. One is 2,000 square feet. Another is 2,100. Another one is 2,106. So they're all pretty similar. As far as the lots, they're all pretty similar. You can see 1, 2, and 3. They're all built within the same pretty much. Comparable number 1, 1.1 million. It's been on the market for just 1 day. So it just came on the market. This one for 1.2, 1,250,000. It's been on the market for 5 days. And this one, 1,500,000. So it's been on the market for 78 days, but look at how distant the pricing is. So you can see, 1.1 just came on the market, but 1.5 is just staying on the market. So you can see that one's probably way overpriced because it's still on the market.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to talk to your client.
Yeah, it's time to do a market price adjustment. But so when you're looking at actives, all you're doing is looking at what homes are listed at. We don't know what these homes are going to sell for, but let's say you're working with the seller and they're trying to compare, you're trying to figure out, well, what should I list it at? Well, you really don't know what these homes are going to, what a home it lists for is not necessarily what it's going to sell for. So
Question: when you go to do the days on the market, are you doing total days, like, or are you just doing the active amount, the current active amount? So let's say, for example, somebody put their home on the market for a couple weeks, something happened, they took it off, they put it back on. Which one are you doing? Which one are you putting down on there?
I'm putting it on total days for the market, total.
Okay,
Even if
okay.
they combine the combined days on the market. So you can
Okay.
look at, you can look at what you're talking about, but I like to look at combined days on the market so that
Okay.
you can see that this person's trying to sell their house in spring. And, even if something happened and it didn't get sold, you still want to know. You still want to know that because they probably haven't changed the price of the home that they're listing it at. They probably took it
Okay.
off because maybe, they went on vacation and took it off and then they put it back on for the same price.
Okay.
So,
Because I have found that people are taking their houses off the market sometimes because they can't find a home for themselves. And so then they're taking it off, and then when they find something, they're putting it back on. You have those stubborn clients. So I have seen that as well.
oh, and then what you notice is when they put it back on the market, they're putting it back on this at the same price. So that pricing
Yeah.
is still that pricing when they come back, they're in a different time frame. So let's say they put it on the market in springtime and now it's summer. Well, they still have it on the market at the springtime price. They haven't adjusted it. So that's why I like to look at the combined days on the market to see, oh, they had this property, they started selling this property in the spring. It's summer now and prices are different. So maybe prices went up in the summer, but and that's something you want to know is if they have it, this, say, take comparable number one, they have it on the market at $1,100,000 in the springtime, but now prices are higher.
Oh, I was wondering if it was me because I was driving.
What's that?
Your voice is cutting out sometimes.
Oh, no. It says my internet connection is unstable. Can you hear me? Is it?
I hear you
Yeah.
now, yeah.
When it cuts out, just let me know so that if I need to repeat something, I will. So it's just saying my internet connection's not stable. So I hope I get through this. But just let me know. So do you understand? You understand what we're looking for when we're looking for active and all that?
Yeah.
So now,
Yeah.
okay, so now let's look into pending. Pending is not as critical, but it's important to understand pending. And so what pending tells us is that if a home is listed at a certain price, it's likely it's going to sell. So look at these pending homes prices. The one for 1.2, the comparable number one, it was only on the market for 3 days and it sold. Okay, comparable number two, it was only on the market for 1 day and it sold. But look at that price, $1,050,000. Okay, no wonder it sold so quickly because the other homes in that neighborhood were priced a little bit higher. So the one that was 1,200,000, that was on the market for 5 days. So you can see that the lower the price, the sooner, the quicker the home will sell. And that's kind of what you're looking for when you see a pending. It just tells you what a price is likely sell quickly. And now again, that doesn't tell you what the home sold for. It just tells you if you have your home listed for 1,050,000 or 1 million, or if you have your home listed for under 1.2 million, you're going to get it sold more quickly. And so you want the buyer to see what a fair price is, and you want the seller to see what a fair list price is. So let's move into the sold category. Now, this is actually the most important part of your market analysis when you're talking to buyers and when you're talking to sellers. This sold gives you the answers. So we have comparable number one that sold for 1,150,000. That home was on the market for only 3 days. So, and then we have comparable number two is on the market for a little bit higher, but look how long it was on the market, 21 days. So the higher the price, the longer it's going to be on the market. Look at comparable number three. It was on the market for $1 million even. 1 day. Because now let's go back into the pending. So look at this one, and it'll give you some insight. Look at it. Comparable number two was only on the market for 1 day. That's because it was only on the market for 1,050,000. So you can see that if it's priced higher, it's going to be on the market longer. Now, then we go into the sold, which is the real answer. This home comparable number three was only on the market for 1 day, and because it was priced at 1 million. So 1.25 might be too high. 21 days comparable number two. That's probably going to be too high for this neighborhood. Maybe you can get away. You can look at 1.150 and comparable number one, 3 days. So if I were looking at this and analyzing it, I would say, if I'm working with the seller, I would say, if you priced your home anywhere from 1 million to 1,150,000, you might be able to get a good price. If they say, no, I want to list my house for 1,300,000, well, comparable number two will tell you that, okay, you might get it sold, but it's going to take you a long time to get it sold. So buyers are telling us that this neighborhood is only worth between 1 million and 1,150,000. The lower you price the home,
and then that's comparable. The lot is bigger too. They have to take that into consideration. The lot is bigger than the two ones that sold. That's 1.9 acres. Another one's is under, the 1 acre, a little bit over. But the lot is bigger. That's why it's sold for the 1.25 million.
And yeah, that's true. And so that's a really keen analysis, because you do want to look at the lot sizes and the sizes of the home. So that one, comparable number two, 2,100 square feet and larger lot. So it would command a higher price. At the same time, you want to look at what that also tells me is there aren't that many buyers in that category, who can pay that much money. So that's why it could have been why it was on the market for so long, because you had to wait for a buyer to come along who could spend that kind of money. So the other two, comparable one and comparable three, their lot sizes are kind of the same. They're built in the same time frame. So and comparable one, the lot size is just a tiny bit larger. So Monique's calling. Hey, Monique.
Technical issues, or you having technical issues?
I'm having technical issues on the audio.
Okay. Because I was trying to log back in, like it wouldn't reconnect, and then I just tried to do it again, like I logged out and then tried to reconnect, it wouldn't let me back in, it just says it's waiting.
Try to do it again. Maybe I didn't see you logging in.
Okay, let me try again.
Okay. All right. So let me give Monique a moment.
Okay.
I wonder if I'll be able to see her if I'm screen sharing. Maybe that's it.
That's probably why, huh?
Yeah.
Well, she came on before. Remember, she left and came back.
Oh, that's true.
So she left and came back.
Okay. So, anyway, so I'm going to, since I'm recording it, I'm going to go ahead and continue, and then she'll be able to pick it up on the recording.
Okay.
Because I know you probably have places to go to, and we're almost we're almost done. So let's go on to the final analysis. So when you're all done with the market analysis, you're going to want to take the average price, and how you get the average price. Okay, so admit, there we go. Let's see if she comes on.
Yep, she coming.
All right, gotcha.
There.
You're there, yay.
Yay.
All right, so you didn't miss anything.
Okay, cool.
All right, so we're now at the final result. So when you're looking at all of these, you know, the actives, the pendings, the solds, when you get this information using a CMA program, it's going to give you all, you know, the average this and the average that. So the thing that you're going to report to your client now is the average price for actives. And you can see that number. It's going to show you the average price for pending. And what it does is it just adds up all. So for active, it's going to add up all the active prices. And say if you have 3, then it's going to divide it by 3 and give you this average. So you can actually do it on your own. You just add up all the numbers for the active listings, the active prices, divide it by 3, or however many you have. If you have 4 comps, then divide it by 4 to get the average. So, but the program will give you these numbers. So it have average pending, and you can see that number in the average sold. So when you're talking to your buyer, you can look at this and you can tell them, well, the average price that's sold is this number. So, or you can tell the seller, well, the average price that's sold is this number, and maybe you might want to list it somewhere around that price range. Anywhere from, you know, if you list it at 1.283, whatever the number is, you know, you can tell them that's the average price. So maybe go ahead and list it at that. And then what you want to do, these are just averages. You want to now take into consideration their property, you know, whether it's in good condition, bad condition, and that'll help you determine whether, you know, what price to list it at or what price to offer. So let's move into, any questions about this average active pending and sold?
When you said the average price, whatever that number is right there, you said something about divided by 3.
Okay, so to get to that, okay, let me move into, I'll just go back to active. So you see the price, the active price down at the bottom, you know, 1.1. So you want to add those numbers together, 1,100,000, 1,250,000, 1,000,000. You add them all up and you're going to get.
Add them all up. Okay.
Add them all up. And then because we have 3 comps, we're going to divide it by 3. let's say you had 4 comps. You're going to divide that, whatever number you get after adding these up, you're going to divide it by 4. And then that's going to give you the average.
Oh, determine the average, just the household, okay. Determine the average, okay.
The average number. So
Average.
and that number is going to be anywhere from 1.1 to 1.5. It's going to be in the middle. It's giving you the average. So,
Okay,
but the program will give those numbers to you. You don't have to do it, but you do want to know how to do it so that if you're not using the program, you know how to do it. And same thing with pending, you just add 1.2, 150, and 1.200, add those numbers, divided by 3. And again, with the
okay,
sold. So, and then here on this page, it's just showing you the results of that. So it's the average asking price, the average pending, and the average sold. And these are just average numbers that you can show to your client, whether it's a buyer or seller. If it's a buyer, you can say these are the active prices, say for instance, that homes are sold. And that'll give them a good idea of what they might want to ask, might want to purchase the house for.
mhm,
So, but these are just numbers that you generated from other sales. Now you're going to want to take into consideration the property condition. These are just numbers that you can start with to determine whether the seller should list it higher or lower, or whether the buyer should offer more or less, depending on the condition of the house. These are averages of homes that you're comparing the subject property to. So they're just numbers right now that you can use to get to a fair price. So let's go to step 4. So that's what I was saying is you want to now you want to evaluate the home, and you want to look at their features, the home's features. And does it have an ocean view? If it has an ocean view and a beach, it's right up next to the beach, and things that people generally tend to want, and the other homes aren't, then you can probably ask for more on the price. So I'm going to go show you the average again. So these numbers here, maybe instead of listing it for 1,283,000, you can add another 100,000. I don't know how much is the price of a view. So what you're going to want to do is maybe go back into one of these listings and see, okay, which one of these homes had a view? And maybe that's why it was priced. Maybe that home at 1.9 acre, maybe that had a view, a ocean view. We don't know. So you're going to want to see which one of these houses had a view. And maybe that's why it was 1.2 instead of, some other price. So is it on a busy street? Because if it's on a busy street, then, you might want to lower the price. So here we're looking at averages, and that's just the number. So that's a number to start with. And so you're going to either add to or subtract from these average numbers. These are just numbers to start making adjustments. So now in step 4, we're looking at the property. We're looking at where it's located. Does the property back up to a forest reserve? Does it, because some people like that and some people don't. So that's why it's also good to understand the demographics of the area. Do people like that? Do they? So for instance, my brother lives in Washington State. Every backyard has a forest. There's nobody, you don't really see your neighbor because there's a forest between you and your neighbor. And they like that, and that's normal. So if you are buying a house that doesn't have that, then maybe if there's no forest in your backyard, because people love that, then maybe you might lower the price of the home. And one way to help you assess the price is maybe talk to the sellers and ask them what they think are the best features of their house. You know, seller, what do you really like about your house? What's the best thing about your house? What do you like? And get their take on what they feel like are the best features and jot those down, because you know that's also going to play into what they feel their home is worth. Um, and then you want to know, is a buyer going to find that feature attractive? Maybe, you know, they like that, the fact that they have a tree in their front yard and the roots are sticking up. Okay, maybe they think that's quaint and cute and all, but will a buyer think that's cute? So you want to just kind of look at it from the buyer's point of view when you're pricing a home, whether you're pricing it for listing it or whether you're pricing it to help a buyer make the right decision on what they're going to offer. So does that make sense? Does step 4 make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's move on to the final step. So now you're going to put all of this data together. If you're doing the CMA through the Metro list, it's going to pop out. Oh, I just did one for my clients. I'll show it to you. Okay, so I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't. You can't see that, huh?
It's like a blank piece of paper.
Yeah, it just looks like a blank piece of paper. Yeah, you can't see it. So anyway, the CMA is all generated for you. If you do it through, the thing I like about MetroList is it'll generate the CMA report for you. It's just a one piece of paper and it has all what I just showed you. It has all of that information for you. And then what you can do is, and it has the average, it has everything you need. So it's not like you have to really put it together, but if you wanted to do like a full, and me personally, I don't like reports. I don't like putting together these full blown out reports. Other agents will put together this big old presentation and all the stuff about them. And I'm just not into that. I just feel like I want to give them this one piece of paper with with all this information that I showed you today. And that's my CMA, that's my report. But you can put together a package that with a cute little binder, and I'm not knocking it. You can put it all together in a binder, include make sure that on every CMA report you do have your contact information. You can put in a binder with your cards and present it to the seller. And in a moment, I'm going to show you different ways that you can use the CMA. So the CMA is basically used to set your client's expectations. It's just a starting point. You're gathering this information so that you can have a place to start adjusting according to the positive and negative aspects of the property. Does it have a fireplace? Does it have a pool? Does it have a large backyard? Is it on a slope? Is it, so you adjust the price according to these different things. Is that den add-on up to code? If it's not, then that's a negative. Even though it's nice and it's pretty, it's a negative if it's not up to code, because then it's going to be hard for the buyer to buy, and they can buy it, but it's not going to be included in the square footage. So, they're actually buying a smaller home than what they thought. So you want to take into consideration everything there is to know about the property. This average, I'm going to go back to that. These average numbers, that's a starting point. That's the benchmark. That's where you start. and then you go and you analyze the property, and based on whether you need to adjust the price or take away that benchmark price is what you can start with the buyer or the seller, and say, well, because it's got an ocean view, it's probably worth another $25,000. So you can add that on too. You can say, because it doesn't have a fireplace and we're up here in the cold mountains, you might take off, take some dollars off because it doesn't have a fireplace. And most people want a fireplace in a cold area. So, and it'll be up to you as the agent to know how much things are worth. So like if you're comparing a 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom, it's generally you can add another $25,000 for another bedroom. So, and you just are going to want to know how much different things are valued, add another 5,000 on the price for a fireplace, take off 10,000 if it has a pool, because a lot of people don't want pools. So let's move into using the CMA as a tool. The reason I like to just have my CMA all on one page is because then I can just print them out and use them, first of all, always in a listing presentation. When I'm holding an open house, I want to have CMAs there so that I can give them away to the visitors. And of course, the CMA has my contact information on it. So it's a non-intrusive way to hand your contact information to the people visiting the home. And it has information about the neighborhood. So if they were thinking of buying that home, then they can determine whether or not the seller has their home on the market for a fair price. And then it also helps them to determine if they're buying what a fair price would be, because they can look at your CMA and see what homes have sold for, and it'll help them determine a good price to buy. Door knocking, if I'm door knocking, it's something that you can hand that neighbor, and it has your contact information on. So it's good information. They are going to accept it. They'll want that information, but it has your contact information on it. So it's another non-intrusive way to introduce yourself. As far as Facebook or my website, I do put once a week, I put market and CMA on my Facebook page so that people can see what homes are going for in Dobbins, or you can do it for whatever neighborhood that you want. And I do block out the addresses when I'm putting it in a public place like Facebook or my website. I blot out the addresses because it's just a matter of courtesy. Even though it's public information, I will blot that out. Oh, Monique, you're on mute. I can't hear you. Monique.
She's on mute.
Okay, there you go. If you take the address off, do you like take off the street or just or the number? Like, what do you?
For me, I take out the number. You can
Okay,
put
but you can leave the street name.
Yeah. And
Okay.
you don't have to do that because it is public information. But the reason I do it is for the psychology of it is when you do that, then it shows people that you're sensitive to them. And
Okay.
it's like, oh, this person doesn't put my business in the street, even though it's public information, anybody can get it. I just do it. And that's how I actually ended up getting my, people that wanted to list with me, as they said, you're very courteous. And, I like that you didn't just publicly display everybody's information. So I just do it. I've always done that as a courtesy, but it is public information. If you don't do it, you're not going to lose your license. but I do it to just as a courtesy so that, people aren't feeling overexposed.
Right.
Um,
Mhm.
That was a good question. Any questions about marketing the CMA, other ways, the ways that you can use your CMA?
Mm-mm.
Do you have any questions about the CMA itself, how to do it?
Oh no, it's pretty easy. I know doing it through MLS. I've done it through there, so it does make it nice to do it. But I'm glad that you like kind of explain the different ones. Like I've made one, but I've never really understood some of the, oh, what should I really be looking at? So this is very helpful.
Yeah.
So yeah, my goal was to help you understand why you're gathering the information that you're gathering, because putting a CMA together is one thing, but why do you have three this and three that? Why? And do I need the actives? Do I need the pinnings? Do I need them? And why you need them? And mostly, I just want you to understand too that you're just gathering information to give you a starting place for helping buyers and sellers know what price. You're not telling people what price to offer, and you're not telling people what price to list. What you're showing people is what's happening in the market. And that's all you're doing. This is happening in the market. This home's been on the market for 21 days, and this is the configuration: 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 1,900 square feet. You're just giving them information. It's just raw data to start with. And then based on the property's amenity, the neighborhood amenities and the property features, then you add or subtract from that general raw data.
Mhm.
But you're not telling them, you're handing them this piece of paper that has all that information on it, and then they can decide what they want to offer and what they want to list their house at.
Mhm.
Mhm. Makes sense.
So good. So my final slide. Thank you.
See you later.
I wish you
things to do.
much success. You guys, it means a lot when you attend these training meetings, because it tells me that you really want to know. And I do value feedback. I don't want you to just say, oh yeah, Marlene, you did a great job. I want to make sure you're learning something, because when you're learning and you're getting it, then it makes your job easy. When you really understand it, when you're not just going through the motions, when you really understand it, it makes you appear more knowledgeable to your client. And then it's less frustrating for you when you're doing these things. So do always feel free to criticize, just let me know if you're learning, if you're not learning. Let me know what you want to learn, and we'll go through that as well.
No, this was actually very helpful too, because for me personally, because now I'm like, oh, now when people are like, oh, can you tell me what the house or the values or whatnot? It's like, I have to go do research. Like I can't just pull a number out of my rear end and get it to you because you want it now, because they're used to like these Zillows and Realtor.coms and all these things that are just giving them instant analysis and not really doing much. So it is kind of like refreshing to be like, no, there's a whole process that's involved with this. So I can't just spit out a number, and I feel more confident understanding what these reports are saying now, so that does help. That really helps.
And that's good that you bring up Zillow and Realtor.com and all those places. The thing about them is they are just giving raw data. They're not going out to see the homes. They're not seeing if it's an ocean front view. They're not seeing if there's a porch all around. They're not seeing the orange carpet. They're just spitting out numbers. So people
They're
are
not even verifying the info. Like Ms. looked up her house, and like her info, you look up her stuff on Zillow, it is so wrong. And you know what I mean? Like they're not even, and people don't understand that if her information's wrong on Zillow, how many other houses are you comparing to that don't have all the correct information? So it's like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so market analysis, you can use them as a tool. You can use them. You can send out postcards with the CMA on it. Just that little one-page CMA that's generated through Metrolist. You can use that as a marketing tool, send that out to the neighborhood that you want to be working in, and do that once a month. You know, here's what's happening in the neighborhood. People love that kind of information. It's information. It makes them feel smarter. It helps them make decisions. And so, because I did that on my Selling Dobbins website, and that's when this lady, after I did that, she called because she could see, wow, okay, so this is what's happening in Dobbins. And so maybe my house could sell. And so she called me to ask, if I would come over and assess her property and see if it's sellable. And that was after seeing the market analysis that I put up on the website. So it is a great tool, and you don't have to always be saying, hey, hire me. No, give them good information and let them know that you know the market. They love it. They eat up information like this. So I would just say generate some postcards and hand out this information, or if you have your Facebook or a website, just put this information. And once a month is all you really need to do. Put it up there and let people see it. It makes you look like you know what you're doing. It makes you look like you know what you're talking about. So
you send out postcards, and postcards kind of small. You can get all the information on a postcard.
yeah, like the 5x7s, yeah, because it's not, you're only having, say, 3 of each, 3 active, pending, and sold each, and they all will fit with small print. I definitely do that. I don't have all the information. The only thing I have is, of course, I blot out the number, and I just have the 3, 2, 1, and the 3/2/1, or whatever. And I don't have like all this information, but I do have the prices. I don't have the lot acreage, but people want to know if you have the street name, the basic configuration, and the active, pending, and sold price. That's really all you need.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to put, like, this CMA has, lot size, the year it was, all this information, days on the market, original price. You don't need all that. You're just sending information to make it look like you know the market, and here's what's happening in your neighborhood.
Okay.
Cool.
It's very unintrusive because you're giving them information they really want, but it has your contact information on it and your beautiful photos.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're out and about, they know, oh yeah, that's that realtor. That's Catherine. That's Monique.
I will tell you, there's a realtor here in Antelope. I'm actually friends with her, and we were friends even before I became a real estate agent. And she actually doesn't live too far from me, but she has a bench at a restaurant here in Antelope. And I had actually seen this bench before I met her at a mutual friend's party. And to this day, she has it on the bench. And that's how people know her around Antelope, is the girl on the bench.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Monique, that's cool. You
yeah,
gotta get the
so
girl
it
on
is.
the bench.
Yeah, people know her that way. Like, it's funny too. Like, if she's talking or I see her, because she has her own Antelope webpage that she does the same thing, Facebook. And that's actually one of the things she does. And she's like, this is a place for mutual. Doesn't matter what company you work for, just get on here, share your house. We're all trying to make money. That's what it's about. And people who have joined, I've seen them make comments about it, like, oh yeah, I recognized you from the bench.
Yeah, I used to be on shopping carts. So
yes,
whenever
I remember that. Go to
I was asking
Safeway.
you, do my key work in Elk Grove?
Elk
My metro,
Grove, your
my short
metro.
house.
No,
Huh?
no,
No, I don't know if it
no.
works in Elk Grove.
Your key won't work in Elk Grove. But if you need access to Elk Grove, let me know and I'll give you access. I can meet up with you and open a house for you if needed.
Oh, okay. Cause I'm sure my sister's some property. She wants to start looking, so I'm looking for places in Elk Grove. So I'm looking at, so the ones that she like, I might need to get in.
Yeah, just let me know. Let me
Okay.
know what your schedule is. Yeah, because I don't think your key will work out here because the keys, they work for the specific area. And I think your key isn't in our area. Cause like, I can't go to like West Sac and use my key.
Oh, really?
Or like Vacaville and stuff. Like I can't, it's like there's a border like right where it's at. So my key will work in Elk Grove. I don't think your key will work up here.
Metrolist. So I'm gonna find that Metrolist chart.
But that's weird because when I showed a client property in Vacaville, I was able to get in.
Really?
From Metrolist.
Yeah, from
Okay.
Metro, I was able to get in.
Oh, because I wasn't able to do it. It was like a totally different thing. And I actually had to call when I was showing property in Vacaville and Fairfield. I actually had to call the agents to let me in with my client.
So maybe because you're Sacramento Association of Realtor Money, maybe it's different. We'll see.
Yeah, well, just let me know.
Okay.
Either way, let me know. And if it's on the weekend, it's obviously easier. But
Most
during
of the
the
time it's gonna be on the
weekdays.
weekend.
Oh yeah. So just let me know, and then I can help you out. If they don't let your key, I don't have a problem helping and driving down there to help you out.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Hey, teamwork. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. I love it. That's what we're here for, to help each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
I gotta start getting some business.
Hey, we're all there.
we're all in the same boat. We're
Yeah.
all in the same boat. We're all working. We're all trying, and it will happen. It's gonna pick up.
And the
It didn't
market is
help.
constantly changing,
Yeah.
The market is constantly changing,
Yeah.
They just changed. They just increased the points too. I don't know if you heard. They just voted up another 0.75 increase.
Yeah.
On
So
increase on interest. Yeah. So I have a client right now that's trying to get qualified, and I think she's just done because she's like, I'm not trying to deal with this interest rate.
Let me just share my information that I printed about that. She can still buy a house. That's one of the things I say. You can still buy a house. It's just you're not going to be able to buy as big of a house. And sellers, you got to understand there are fewer buyers now because of this. So you may have to lower your price. So I'll patch that over to you, and you could probably
send that. Yeah.
I need to post that on my page, Mom. Send that over.
Okay, I'm gonna.
I need to put that on my Selling Sacramento page.
I know. It's perfect. I just did it last night because I was thinking, because I was looking for open houses for Dobbins and I couldn't find anything. And I didn't want to let the weekend go without saying anything to anybody. So the interest rate hike, everybody's talking about it. And people are like, your client is done. I'm done. Like, no, you don't have to be done. It's always a good time to buy and sell real estate. What it means is buyers, you will just buy a less expensive home. Sellers, you're going to have to lower the price of your home now because there aren't going to be that many buyers because of this. So there's, in a sense, if the sellers are smart, they're going to lower the price of their home. That buyer is still going to be able to buy the same house because now the seller lowered their price. So they're going to be able to get into the same home. It's just people get scared. And you've got to tell the sellers, lower your price in a nice way.
I think the issue though with my client is she was already on the border of being able to qualify. And Sacramento is just crazy right now still. I mean, I was just looking at some homes. It's really difficult because these homes are now getting to the point where the average price isn't even 300,000, it's 400, so you got to make a lot of money. What?
I said some of them going as high as $600,000 and $700,000.
Yeah, and these are just regular 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes, decent lots, decent neighborhoods, and they're just going up to a point where it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, your average worker now just cannot in Sacramento afford a house. Like the fact that me and my husband were just talking, because ironically his childhood home went up for sale, and it's starting at, I think it was like 560 or something like that, and I was like, it would take both of us working to afford that. And I said, and be prepared to have a $4,000 mortgage. Like, get
That's
real.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, you complaining about this rent that we had over here before. You want a you want a $4,000 rent? Get out of here.
Like my daughter Jackie's trying to buy a house in Patterson. I mean, she got the semi-income, but they won't she would have to pay like almost $3,500 a month mortgage.
Woo!
And it's like, it's ridiculous. She's, single parent, so she can make it afford that. It's frustrating because the houses are going up. The houses are 500 something thousand. These houses are going to Patterson and more. You can't touch Tracy.
Patterson used to be the little gem, the place to go. Like,
and even Merced, the prices are going up in Merced big time. Merced ain't no $200,000 little houses no more. They going up. They're the 3s and 4s. They going up.
Wow, time for me to go buy an investment property.
I know. And that's why my sister and El Grocery said, she's not waiting. I said, if you keep waiting to buy a house, you're gonna be stuck. The house is going up higher and higher, and you won't be able to get no type of house. You'll be stuck in the house that you're renting now, because right now you don't know when your landlord will come to you and say, I want my house back now because I need somewhere to live. So I'm trying to get her situated now. I found 2 places that was in the high 4s. But her credit is good, so maybe she can get a low interest rate as far as when she apply for a loan or something.
It's really, I will tell you though, being out here in the Sacramento area, the even though the average of what they talk about, the bidding is way different here. It is still pretty. It's still pretty aggressive. Yeah. And actually it's funny because you would think the Bay Area would be where it's at. No. And I actually had realtors tell me that Sacramento is more of an animal, and people are actually giving up, which I can understand. And they're going to the Bay Area, back to the Bay, because it's super aggressive here. So you got to make sure your financing is solid and make sure that you are aware that you are going to be overbidding. You will be in a bidding war. And if you have that mindset, you won't be as disappointed in the process. So it's still pretty aggressive out here. It's calming down, but it's still aggressive.
You remember that, Marla? You remember that house I sold, my brother's house in Oakland? I sold was it 287 or something like that? I looked at the house. Do you know this? It's worth like over 500 something thousand. And that was a marginal home. Remember?
Yeah.
On some land. I said, what? That is crazy.
In Oakland?
In Oakland on 85th Avenue. I couldn't believe it.
That's crazy.
I said, wow. The value of it shot up so high because everybody's buying. They trying to get in, the Bay Area or whatever. So I said, wow. I said, what if you would have kept that house? It's like, but still, I don't know.
That's why me and my husband were talking. I said, we need to do more of an investment because we're not going to buy our dream home here in California. It's just too expensive. But in order to get equity and start getting that money, we're going to have to buy something. So if we don't want to live in it, we just need to find something small that we could rent out and start gaining that equity, because we could always refinance later and gain the equity and then go buy what we want, because, we got 20 grand of equity to work with whatever we saved versus, not having our dream home and then just waiting. And that's what a lot of people keep doing. These people are just, I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. I won't feel satisfied as a homeowner until I have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, and I'm like, you're going to miss out. You're making 50 grand a year, 70 grand a year. You may be making 100 grand a year and you're waiting for that. Good luck. You won't get in at all.
That's true. That's so true.
Yeah.
It's a market.
Yeah.
So ladies, do you have any questions about anything?
No, I need you to help me with I gotta get my Facebook page together.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm busy, I'm tired, I need
I
help.
know.
You look at Facebook, it's like, man. I try to come home and try to spend an hour with it, trying to do the business side of it, but it's like something's not working for me, but I need you to take a look at it, you know?
It is a little difficult, I will say, for a hot minute, but I just took, I'm tired too, because trust me, I have this job and I'm like, ooh, this is a lot. Mom can definitely help you with that, because but once you get in and it takes time to figure it out. I feel like I'm tech savvy and it can be a challenge, but once you get to know it and you do it, it's actually easy. Like the pages.
Because on my business size page, like Marlene showed me a while back. Remember, I used to type up stuff on your link, and I used to bring it over to my face page. And it's been a while since I did that, so I kind of like lost it.
Oh no!
So I got this page that I created, but I still got more stuff to do on it. So this time I'm gonna stay with it, because I shouldn't have stayed off of it. But
It's once you get it set up, you don't really have to put a lot of time into it. And it's not like you have to create articles and things like that. There are so many different places that you can just share and put it on your website. Just like now, I wrote this article, but I'm going to share it with Monique. She doesn't have to do anything, but her clients are still going to get the information. House Logic, I use that a lot. That's free through the National Association of Realtors. There are different places. Monique has the hookup with, what is that place?
Fidelity.
Fidelity.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Monique has a hookup.
All right.
She needs to share. So is that what the information
I sent
that
you
you're
the link,
putting out?
right? Or I sent you the info, right?
I don't think
Me?
so.
The phone number.
Oh, yes, you did. That's
You gotta
right. I need to
call
call
her.
her. I need a
Yeah,
call.
so you got to call her. So what happens, Catherine, this is so awesome. So every month Fidelity puts out like really cool stuff. They'll put out about, and it's designed for like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever your social media is. They have stuff that you can share and upload to your page, and you can set it up to automatically post. Girl, I got that on auto post. I don't post on that page at all. I can, and I should. I need to post some more stuff, but it automatically posts 2 days a week. So if I just don't post the rest of the week, 2 items will automatically post. And it's like, oh, look at the interest rate. Oh, look at how much, it would be to buy a house. You can adjust the ad to customize it for your area. And things like that, and go, and it will, and you can actually set up to automatic. So every month, so now I have it where it's going to post the rest of the month, and then I have a calendar reminder to when the new stuff comes out to go post that stuff for the month, and I don't have to do anything. And then it just says your information, and then it has Fidelity's information. So it's like information provided by Fidelity, and it's all in the corner, all quiet. It's not, on blast, but it looks like you got creative and, took it. And then I know this real estate association also does that too, for like videos and stuff like that. You can get stuff to post, but I do that to keep my page active.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So the algorithm
all the time. Something once a day, something on there.
And you could set it up that way through Fidelity. If there was enough stuff, you could do that, but I don't think you have enough stuff to do it daily, but definitely multiple days a week for the whole month. You could set up and it caters to buyers and sellers. And if you use this app, you can also, while you're on the spot, like, when you're dealing with your clients and they're like, hey, I want to know how much it's going to cost to close. And you're like, I have no idea what the title and escrow fees will be. There's an app that will tell you, hey, that they're the buyer, they're the seller, and put the sales price, put all that stuff in, and it will spit that information out for you.
Okay, that sounds good.
So you can get some rough estimates on what that would look like for your client. And the gal from Fidelity can tell you it's like $10 a year or something. You have to, or 99 cents a month, something like that. I don't know. You pay in full, and then because technically they have to charge you. It's the law. It requires
that's right.
that.
Yeah.
So they charge you some token amount.
You got a website?
It's not a website. It's her phone number. Mom, can you forward that information to her?
Oh, sure. Okay. I'll get it to you.
And Kelsey, she's really cool. She's really nice. She's very accessible. She's really nice. So if you need anything, you can call her.
Okay.
And then I have local agents that I know. So she'll probably hook you in with your local agents. And then when you have a deal, you just kind of go to your local agents.
Okay.
I'll get that over to you.
Mhm.
I know the loan, remember too, the, like your loan officer you have that you use, most of the loan
Mhm.
officers, they have a, like if you have a listing, they help you promote your listing, you know that?
Mhm.
Cause,
Mhm.
the other one that, when I did my brother's house, they had the whole CMA printout, a picture of the house and everything, so I can pass out, during my, open house and stuff. They help you out too. They have a different website.
That's what happened when I did my
Yeah.
open house with my lender friend.
Uh-huh.
That's what she did. She promoted, we cross promoted. So
Yeah,
she was actually there.
She promotes you as the agent. I mean, she was the loan officer, so she can, that's good. That's a good.
Mhm.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. So,
Yeah. So that was nice. Got some
mhm.
extra exposure.
Yeah, so we need all the exposure we can get
Exactly.
at farmers markets, stores, everywhere. Okay?
Yeah, everywhere. I
Dude,
know.
I'm telling you, it's
If I was
Yeah,
doing my job, I'd be at the farmer's market now.
yeah.
But no, this is my job too. So I can always
what
It-
go.
time does the farmers market close? You still
It
got
doesn't
time.
close till
Now,
2. I
listen,
still
Start
got
doing
time.
these Zooms.
Put my little
Just
shirt
start doing
on.
the Zooms at the farmers
Uh-huh,
market.
And you know what? And like you said, Marlene, the key thing is to keep ourselves in front of people. That's how we go to the business. People need to know what we do, right?
Yeah, they need to
Mhm.
know.
So,
Yeah. And it's working.
advertise.
Mhm. Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm going to get off this phone because my husband's at the movies. I've never been in this house by myself. Literally, we've
Woo.
lived in this house since May, and I have not been in this house by myself. And I'm
Okay.
going to go.
Okay.
We got some new desks for our office, and I need to move some stuff around too. So I want to kind of get that done. But
Okay.
good chatting
All
with
right.
you guys.
Well,
Good
you have a
chat
great
with you
day.
too. Thanks,
Bye,
Winnie.
guys.
Bye.
Bye. We'll see you
And,
later.
See you
oh,
soon.
And a quick question, Marlene.
Yes.
I'm gonna get some more business cards made.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Are you doing your business cards just straight up EXP or what do you?
The ones I
still
have
using-
now, because they were free, I got them through AXP, but I like Vistaprint, so that you can design it however you want.
Are you still doing Bertrand Realty Powered by EXP or
Am I doing what, Bertrand Realty, what?
powered by EXP?
Oh, yeah, I still do. Yeah, just because it's me, but you don't have to. You can do straight up EXP and make it, just kind of plain and simple. But I definitely do powered by. So, like I'll show you my signs. So, these are the signs I got. Can you see it?
Oh yeah, Bertrand. That's nice, Marlene. Bertrand Realty Group.
Because, I'm me. So I want to make sure I promote me and the group and because when you're part of a group, it just makes it seem like you're bigger than you are. And it makes it seem like you have a whole team of people that can work with you. So, but you can do that, or you can just be straight up EXP. It's up to you. I pretty much just went through EXP because let me see, I don't know if you see my card. I just went through EXP because these were the free cards. So I did the free card.
So my free cards, they never did send them to me. I placed my order without the picture, and I still never get anything. I don't know
I'm
what the
surprised.
so
Oh,
what
I
do
would
they
ask.
mean?
I don't know. I would ask about that.
Because this is just generally my phone number and my name and my license. This is the basic. That's all I wanted. So that's why
So
I'm
you never got them?
No, I probably just go to make some up at the other Vistaprint.
Vistaprint. I like Vistaprint. My next card's
Vistaprint, they give me an option to design my
Yeah.
own card.
Yeah. So my next cards I'm gonna just get through Vistaprint. Just so I can have it designed the way I want it.
Yeah.
Free is free. So, I did the free thing because
Those are nice. I like that.
I do like their card.
That's a nice car. I see that. It's so nice. The hair, everything.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice.
I
Yeah.
can't seem to get it back to that, but it was good while it lasted.
Yeah, oh, well.
How the hair is just sometimes it works and sometimes it
No,
doesn't.
it don't. Yeah. Mhm.
But-
Yeah, so that's what I'm working on now. Is just I'm trying to get a house together for my sisters. I'm taking my she's gonna be taking my time. I'm taking my time to do it. And it's when I'm taking my time, I'm gonna learn, doing my ways doing it. So with the CMAs and all that kind of stuff. So it helped out a lot, especially how you explained it. That it's very important to take the averages, the active, pending, and sold to determine the price.
Mhm.
That's gonna make a difference in the CMA.
Yeah,
So
it is. Well, I'm glad you got something out of it. Be thinking about what you'd want to have as the next meeting, and I'll try and get to that, get something put together for that. So if there's something just really important on your mind, let me
Okay.
know, and I'll try and have a training just for that. Just
okay.
we got to know as much as we can.
The next meeting is in a month. Every month, right?
Every 2 weeks, but we can take it to once a month. We'd back to once a month if you want. So right now I have it scheduled for every 2 weeks, but we can go to once a month because we pretty much covered just about everything that we need to, but just kind of think about it and let me know what you think.
Okay, I'll come up with some ideas and different stuff and let you know.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
I enjoy the meeting. You enjoy your weekend, okay?
Thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend too.
Thank you. Thanks for the education.
Oh, you're welcome.
All
Thank
right. See you
you.
later. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.